Hello and welcome to this edition of Simple Sunday, brought to you by Thought Provoking Change. You can join the community now by going to www.thoughtprovokingchange.com/opportunity and join in with us now. And you can also take a picture of the screenshot of the QR code in the upper corner and purchase the book, Slingshots, 13 Powerful Catapults for Life Transformation. This is my latest book, and it is also what we will be chatting from tonight. Yes.
You sent a StreamYard link, and then the next one was a Zoom.
Through text?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Tonight, we're going to be discussing order is the seed for productivity. A dream written down with a date becomes a goal. A goal broken down into steps becomes a plan. A plan backed by action makes your dreams come true. That's a quote from Reid, who is one of my mentors and also wrote the foreword for this particular book. So give him a look. He has some great information as well. Order is not just about being neat and tidy. It's about having a system and structure in place to help you achieve your goals. When you have an order, you have a plan. And that plan is the seed for productivity. Creating an effective order is the key to achieving productivity. Taking the time to plan out your task and make sure you remain organized can help keep things moving in the right direction. My wife is huge on organization. She is probably the most organized person I have ever met. That might be from her background as a public school teacher. This includes developing routines, setting deadlines, breaking down tasks into more manageable steps, and prioritizing task, delegating where appropriate, and creating a physical or digital filing system that allows you to easily keep track of your projects and progress. By taking the time to establish an effective order, you are essentially setting yourself up for success and increasing your productivity in the long run. Organizational tools such as a daily planner or a task management system can make it easier to stay organized. Just remember that creating an effective order requires dedication and consistency. What are some of the biggest things of organization that you yourself have found, Kate? Like I said, she is one of the most organized people I have ever met in my life. What helps keep you organized, and how do you feel that has led to the success that you have in your life? Kate? Okay, the book outlines a story of Jack. And one day, Jack decided to take a step back and evaluate his situation. He realized that he had been trying to do too much all at once. Without any clear path or structure in place, he needed to establish order in his life if he wanted to achieve success. Jack started by creating a task list for each day. He wrote down everything he needed to accomplish and prioritized each item based on its importance and its deadline. He also spent very specific times to work on each task, making sure each schedule breaks in between to avoid burnout. Jack wanted to ensure his days were as productive as possible, so he implemented a morning routine. Every day, Jack woke up at the same time and used exercise to get his blood flowing before he started his workday. He completed stretching exercises and high-intensity workouts and took relaxing walks to maintain energy throughout the day. Additionally, Eating a hearty breakfast provided him with extra fuel that helped him work more efficiently, no matter how difficult the task ahead might be. By creating a strict yet beneficial post rush hour mindset, Jack was able to move closer to the completion of key goals at every day of the week. You know, my life has changed a lot here recently. One of the biggest things is I think a lot of you are aware that I did the 75 hard workout program. And that is a big proponent of organizational management. It is a mental toughness program far more than a diet. However, in order to get a question that was posed just recently on one of the 75 hard platforms that I was on, they said, what is or was your biggest challenge with the entire program? By far, without a doubt, the biggest challenge to me was the 3-hour break in between the two different programs or the two different workouts. You know, if I could just put them back to back, that would have cleared it out for the day. However, again, that was the point of the program of get on there and change your life around. It was way more than just add in some workouts and change your diet. It was about the whole mental aspect of everything. To be productive with that program, to be productive with the platform, I definitely had to change so much in my life. One of the things was I would wake up early in the morning, and thankfully my most favorite middle-born daughter she did the program with me. And there were times that she would be up there waking me up when I just didn't feel like rolling out of bed. And even though I didn't feel like it, I couldn't let my little baby down. So we would get up and get it done. And still to this day, I find that if I don't go to the gym early in the morning, it gets harder and harder as the day goes along. So I like to get up and get to the gym first thing, get it out of the way. It's already done. And then if I want to go back, I go back again. I was there this morning before anybody in my family woke up. I already had my workout done, but that's what leads to the productivity of during the 75 hard time, completing those tasks. And now it's just a total body transformation. I do it day in and day out because I still have my end goal in mind. I still have this cardboard cutout that's right beside me, which everybody that's inside the community, inside of Thought Provoking Change, you know exactly what that means. You know what the cardboard cutout is. For those of you that are not aware of what I'm talking about, go ahead and join at thoughtprovokingchange.com/opportunity, and you'll have access to everything we do within the community. You'll get to network with some of the greatest people on earth, as we are in multiple countries, multiple continents, and you'll get to meet each and every single one of them. Without having the order of how I was going to do things, I would have never been productive with 75 hard. I would have never lost the weight that I lost, transformed my body the way I transformed my body. And now there's another thing going on is, if you've known me for a while, you've known that I first started investing in real estate in 2008. Anybody in America knows what happened around that time. I was way too new. I lost it. And when I say lost it, I mean everything. Bankruptcy, lost the house, lost the cars, lost everything. I started again a couple years ago, and now I'm really implementing that more into my life. You know, I have everything that's needed without a doubt. I had the most amazing mentors. I have some just awesome, awesome people that not only are they mentors, they're friends, they're brothers, which anybody that knows me pretty well knows that if I welcome you in, I welcome you in with open arms, and he's the same way. And, you know, we work well together. He helps me, he leads me, he guides me, he directs me on the stuff that I am not familiar with in the many years that I've been doing it. And the order to get so productive is to delegate. That's with everything. The more that you can delegate and you find people that your weakness is their strength, the more that you both grow together, the more that the team grows, the more productive everybody becomes. When you don't have to wear all hats in a business, when you don't have to wear all the hats in a relationship, when you don't have to wear all the hats in parenting, it makes it easier. You know, I know a lot of single parents that it really is just them. And then I look at the blessing that I have with my wife, Kate, and how we play off of each other with all of the kids. I could not imagine if either one of us had to take on all 6 of these kids by herself. Because, you know, there's a thing. There are times where the kids are all on her, and period. That's it. They are all on her. There are times where they're all on me, but thankfully, it's a very short-lived period. You know, this morning, Kate was a heathen and didn't go to church with us. No, Kate has not felt well today. So she didn't go with us, and Jack was at a friend's house. But yet the rest of the kids were on me. There's a big difference in me having the kids for a couple of hours versus her. There are times where I leave town and I'm gone for, you know, a couple of days or a week or sometimes even 2, and they're all on her all the time. She has such order with how she does everything that she gets everything to run. It still to this point amazes me how she pulls off some of the stuff. Our middle son plays football, and I remember a couple years ago, I was on the road nonstop. We had just picked up a big multi-state contract, and at the time I was having to be on site and run the crews and run the people, and, you know, run the people, that sounds terrible, but run the crews and make sure that everything was still going, still flowing. Without me there at that point, there would have been no productivity. Not until everybody got trained up on what they were doing for that particular contract. But I'm telling you, at that time, Jack was playing football. Were both of the girls cheering? 2 of our 3 girls were cheering. Van, I think, was doing, he was playing football too, wasn't he? You're still muted, my love. There you go.
Yes. And Emma was doing dance and ballet once a week each.
So of the 5 kids, of these 6 kids, 5 of them were busy multiple times a week. And as you can imagine, things overlapped all the time. Yet she pulled it together. Years later, I'm still amazed at how she pulled that off. One of the big things is she had order in how she did things. You know, she'd have to call people, call a coach. Hey, can you pick Jack up? Hey, can you drop them off? You know, can you do this? Can you do that? But she pulled it off. And she was extremely productive with everything. And don't be jealous. She's my wife. She's taken. She's amazing. And I've got her. There are things that I'm implementing now with changes and shifts where I devote certain areas of time to certain tasks. Because if not, if I just throw it out there to the wind, nothing will ever get done. But when I can say from this hour to this hour, I'm going to be in the gym. From this hour to this hour, I'm going to be making phone calls. Every Sunday night at 9 p.m., I get to spend that hour with some of my most favorite people in the world. Same thing on Wednesdays. There are multiple times where we do calls and we do things. And it all takes priority. It all goes in the order of my schedule. And how do you start your day off? That says a lot about where your day is going to go. You know, if you wake up and you just say, oh, crap, it's Monday. Oh, crap, it's Tuesday. Holy crap, think about all the crap I have to do today. You're probably not going to have the best day in the world. Yet when you wake up and you roll out of bed and you say, thank you, God. Thank you that I had a good night's sleep, or even a poor night's sleep, but I was in a warm house. I was in a comfortable bed. there are so many people that don't have the luxuries, the simple luxuries that we have, that we just take for granted every day. And when you start your day and the first order of business daily is to be gracious, to be thankful, it changes your day. It changes your life. When you decide that you are going to look at the good and not the bad, you'll find more good. What we focus on grows. What are you focusing on? Are you focusing on that you want to see come true in your life? Or are you focused on that you're afraid of? At all times, we are either running toward pleasure or we're running away from pain. Every single decision that we make in life, we're going toward pleasure, or we are running from pain. And that's not a bad thing to run from pain. If you want to get right down to it, when you accept Christ as your Savior, you just ran from hell. That's pretty painful. So running from pain is not a bad thing. Here's a question for you to think about. Would you work harder to earn another $1,000, or would you work harder to keep somebody from stealing $1,000 that you already have? Now, that's actually a deep question when you think about it. It's $1,000 either way. Studies have shown that more people will work harder to not lose what they have than to get more. That they will fight to hold on to what's there instead of going for more. I asked a buddy the other day. We were working on some business stuff, and I said, if you were able to pay, let's just hypothetically say you make $50,000 a year, and you were able to pay one time $950,000, and you were guaranteed that at the end of that year, you would now be making $1 million a year minimum every year for the rest of your life, would you do it? Quickly, you know what? I'm not even going to answer that. For those of you that are watching the live stream, put your answer in the chat comments. For those of you that are here live on the call with us, let me hear your thoughts. If you were able to pay, again, hypothetically speaking, you were making $50,000 per year, and you're able to pay $950,000 one time, and at the end of that year, you are guaranteed to make $1 million. You're going to have to work for it, but nonetheless, you'll know how to, you'll know what to do. Would you pay that to make $1 million a year every year for the rest of your life? Susan?
It would pick on me. I had to pay $995,000.
$950,000. So basically, the gap between where you're at, hypothetically, in this example, and the $1 million, you have to come up and pay that money some way, somehow. Would you figure it out? Would you run toward the pain, or would you run from the pain of, man, that's 20 times the amount that I make, or 19 times the amount that I make every year? I can't afford that. Or would you say, you know what? Let me figure it out.
Take a risk and go for it.
Say it again.
If I could find a way to do it, I would do it.
Okay. All right. Kate, Juanita. Kate says yes. Juanita says yes. See, you're running toward the pleasure of what would be to come. You're just accepting the hypothetical fact that it will happen year after year. So how many things in our life do we just focus on what has fell apart, what has not worked, and we just focus on that instead of looking out and seeing everything that is available? Make no mistake, there is no shortage of money. There is no shortage of jobs. I just had a conversation with my oldest son about finding a job. Trust me, Dad, I'm trying. Okay. How hard though? How aggressive are you with it? Because it's out there. You are in the situation in life right now that you chose to be in. Now, those are hard words. That's not easy to hear. That's not easy to say. Whether you want to accept it or not, it's true. You are in the position that you have put yourself in. You are in the position now where you have worked to be. Now, we've all worked harder than where we feel that we're at. What needs to change? You know, my wife is doing a fantastic job with a product line called the Affirmation Avengers. And she told me just a couple of weeks ago, she said, I need more of a marketing budget. There we go. Boom. She's moving into another position. She's raising the bar. She's making things better because she's looking at what needs to happen. For anybody that is watching this on the live stream, whether it is live or recorded, make sure to go over to Obsessive. Don't you have a shortened URL, Kate? Don't you have a bit.ly? Yes?
Okay. Just get her to throw it in the chat, Jonathan.
Yeah, just put it in the chat so that everybody can see it and everybody can pull from it. Because I'm not sure of exactly what the shortened version is. But go over there and give that link to your teacher friends or maybe to your kids' teachers. When you focus on what needs to happen and you put everything in order, the sequence of what happens, that's when you're going to get productive. People that buy McDonald's franchises are not buying the crappy burgers. They're buying the system. They are buying the order of how it works. It's not the burgers that make the money. It is the system that makes the money. The burger's just the stuff that they throw at you to say thank you. But without that system in place, the burgers don't work. Without the order of this is when you drop the fries, this is when you flip the burger, this is how long you leave the burger on, all of that, it does not work. Same thing with your life. If the order is out of sync, it doesn't work. Sometimes you got to change. Sometimes you got to pivot. We talked about that a couple months ago. Pivoting is a huge aspect. That doesn't mean that you stop what you're doing, or maybe it does. But when you come in and you are willing to pivot and change your life, when you are willing to change your work, when you're willing to change your business, maybe it's for the better, maybe not. But with every yes is birthed by a no. Every time you say yes to anything, you have said no to something else. There's no way around it. So are you going to continue to say yes to the order that you are running? Are you going to continue to say yes to this is how I want things to be? Okay. Or you can say yes to more. You can say yes to better. You can say yes and bring in more people to your convention. You can say yes and figure out how to grow and expand your network. You can say yes to what you really want and say no more to that thing that's been holding you back or those things that have been holding you back. When you get the right order of what's needed, it changes your life. One of my friends and mentors refers to it as Midas. Morning. Oh, I wish that I had it written out in front of me. It's actually in another room. It is your daily action steps that you must take. Edit it every single day. Know what you have to do tomorrow, tonight. Don't wait till tomorrow. So that way you get up and you start running and you go. That's when you can sit there. Some people work well off of a checklist. I know my wife was telling me that at one of the conventions she went to, they basically negated checklist. What they say, that it was masculine or that it was extremely feminine or something. Here's the thing. I personally extremely masculine. And this was at a teacher's teaching, so most people are feminine.
I will keep being masculine. I told you that.
There
I'm
you
not
go.
getting rid of my checklist.
Yep. That's the same way with me. Whenever I have a lot of stuff piling up, I will write the smallest detail on there, even if I finished it already. Simply because I can see I checked it off. Because I see I'm making progress. And if it's really overwhelming and there's really a lot of stuff on there that I just let get over me, I'll write down simple stuff like wake up, use the bathroom, get on the scale, whatever. Simple stuff you're going to do anyway, but yet it shows you have your order there of everything that needs to be done, and it's productivity. Now, you might sit there and say, well, that stuff's not productive. Okay, that's for your mind. But then you move on to the bigger things. I'm one that I would much prefer to attack the biggest stuff first, because if you attack the most challenging thing first, everything else gets easier. You do the hardest thing, you do the most time-consuming thing first, everything else is faster and everything else is easier from there. But it's all about having the order in place to run, to make sure that you remain productive day in, day out, hour in, hour out, minute in, minute out. We all have big dreams. We all have big goals. If your dream is, let's just pick on the number that we were playing with earlier, $1 million a year. Let's pick on that number. That might seem overwhelming, especially if you're making $50,000 a year. That's cool. So back it down. What do you need? You need about $20,000 a week. $83,333 a month. $20,000 a week. You need about $500 an hour for each hour that you are working if you're working a 40-hour job. $500 is a lot easier to make than $1 million until you realize that it's the same numbers. There's no point in complicating things. My first book was called Uncomplicated. It talks about how to uncomplicate your life. We want to throw all these big numbers out there and make it complicated. The reality is, in the English language, there's only 9 numbers. Well, I guess 10 technically, because 0 is a number too. There's only 10 numbers. Now, yes, you can pair them together in multiple different ways. But let's make this easy. Life does not have to be that challenging. You'll have plenty of things come up in your life that are going to give you challenges. You'll have plenty of things come up in your life that are going to beat you down. Again, with the order of what you're doing things, anything you can delegate, delegate it. Whether it's to an employee, whether it's to a friend, whether it's to a child. I swore when I was growing up that the only reason that my parents had kids was so that we could go get them Coke and popcorn at nighttime while they were watching TV. It was so annoying. Hey, Kate, can you ask Jack to bring me some water while you're at it? We do the same thing. When you have order to how you're doing things, your life changes. Because when you have order, I'm not saying you're not going to get overwhelmed at times, but that's the chance for you to be able to move. That's a chance for you to be able to progress. That's a chance for you to be able to take that next leap into the person that God created you to be. That's when you had the opportunity to change your life today. You know, if we just did calls at random here in Thought Provoking Change, and we just hope that people would show up and they would have to guess exactly when the calls were, nothing would ever work. But thankfully, we have the order of emails and text messages and websites and things of that nature to let people know. Don't overcomplicate it. Don't overcomplicate anything in your life. Put a order in place. Find out what you want to be productive with, and then backtrack from it. Chunk it down. Make it smaller. The big picture can sometimes be overwhelming to people. It just depends on if you're an action brain or a thinker brain. I'm a thinker brain. I'm an action brain too, but I'm more so of a thinker brain. I see the big picture, and I need people to come in to help me fill in the small, minute details. What about you? What are you doing to get to your ultimate end goal, to your ultimate level of productivity? What kind of order do you need to implement in your life, to change in your life? Or what order do you need to get out of your life in order to progress forward? Life is all about growth. You're either growing or you're dying at all times. There is no in between. There is no I'm staying stagnant. No, you're growing or you're dying. And be prepared. When you have the order of the day at hand, you will know how to navigate those torrential waters when you get knocked down. But it's all about having the order. It's all about knowing where to place the onions and the pickles and ketchup and mustard, I think. I don't know what all comes on a McDonald's hamburger. But it's about where to place those and how many of them to place on the burgers. Or else the system does not work. There's a restaurant here in America called Olive Garden. It is real, authentic Italian food. Okay, it's not authentic at all, but they call it Italian food. And they used to give free breadsticks to everybody. And for one, I would go in there and I would fill up on breadsticks, soup, and salad because it was always free. And then I would get a meal, take it home with me. There we go. Great. However, several years back, they changed that. And I was reading a document that said that by them cutting out the free breadsticks for everybody, bread, they saved $6.5 million off their bottom line instantly. They just added $6.5 million to their bottom line just by taking something off that was there. What about you? What do you need to let go of? What do you need to get rid of in order for you to be productive? It's not always easy dropping stuff off. It's not always easy to let things go. But you got to look at it and say, will I be able to benefit more people in the long run by doing this? You might be touching some, but can you touch more? Can you impact more? Can you change more lives by making a few tweaks in your order? Can you be more productive by dropping things off or by implementing new things? What does that look like for you guys? Now, I'm not going to ask you to get personal here, especially seeing as we are streaming live on 2 Facebook platforms, Twitter, as well as YouTube. But for you guys that are on this call, what are some things where you know that you can make changes that you've thought about while I've been talking for the past 35 minutes, what are some changes that you can make that will make your life better? Whether it be your spiritual life, your personal life, your financial life, your business life. What's that look like to you? What's that look like for you? And how do you change it? Lisa.
So
Good evening.
I need to plan my day the day before. And I've started to do that. And anytime I do that, my day is so much more productive. And I've started doing that, and I'm really good about it now. Is like today I didn't plan my day, but Sunday's my day off, right? Or it's supposed to be my day off, and it's not, but it's supposed to be. And the other 6 days I'm planning in the morning. At night I'm looking, okay, what am I doing tomorrow? What am I doing tomorrow? And then this way, if I need to shift something, this way I'm prepared for whatever I have to do.
No doubt. Absolutely. And I was reading something recently that was talking about how your mind really only has so many decisions that it can make in a day before it goes essentially on autopilot. Now, I've just briefly read it. I have not looked into it, studied it. I don't have a full understanding, but you know, if you set your clothes out the night before, you don't even have to think about that. Something simple like that, or making the list of everything that you have to do.
Right. And remember, every time you hit the snooze, that's a decision you've already made before you got out of bed.
You've made a decision to put stuff off a little bit longer.
Yeah. And every time you push that snooze button, you make a decision. So your decision power is best in the morning. And then when that bottle is empty, you're done. And then I had a friend once who she would ask me a question and I would answer her, I don't care. And it would drive her nuts. And it wasn't that I don't care. It just, I didn't have any more decision making power in me because I was making decisions for 3 people all day long, every week and without help. So when it would come and somebody would ask me something, I'm like, I don't care. And it was just like, can just somebody else make a decision for me?
Right. So what do you do when you're out of decision, but yet you still have to make them through the night? And this isn't a rhetorical question. This is for everybody. What do you do when your brain just says, I really don't care, but it's something that you got to care about? It's something that you got to do. How do you handle that?
Sometimes you have to take a minute and pray and just get your mind together and collect your thoughts and stuff.
Mm-hmm. No doubt. No doubt. So, Susan, since you're already, and thank you for sharing, Lisa, that's greatly appreciated. You are amazing. Susan, since you are off of mute, how's a way that you can shift your life and improve your life by changing the order of something to reach the productivity that you need?
I'm real bad about hitting the snooze button. So, trying to get up earlier on time, which is sometimes hard just because of my schedule. I flip-flop back and forth between day and night.
Yeah. I did that for 20 years. It is a challenge. I will give that to you. It's
challenging.
Yeah. And that's one of those types of things, just like giving birth to a child or having a baby. That's one of those things you can't understand until you've lived it.
Yep.
Without a doubt. Very cool. What about you, Miss Juanita Kopp from South Africa? And let me give her props real quick. For those of you that are watching this live or catching the replay, Juanita is an amazing, amazing person. She just did a mastermind over the weekend where she had multiple speakers come on and pour wisdom and insight into people. Juanita, would you like to tell us more about that so people that hear this now or in the future can check in and possibly be a great speaker for you in the future?
Yes, thank you so much. It was a lovely conference for the Captor Connection. It was conference number 3. And we had amazing speakers, including yourself, all across the globe, bringing their expertise and helping the audience to learn through their life stories, through their, professional journey. So we are going to have a conference number 4 later this year. So if you're interested, please DM me on Facebook. And it's just like every time that we do an event, and that we come together, the speakers never know most of the time what the other speakers are going to say, and everything at the end of the day just blends together. So it's so amazing to see how we are all interconnected in our fields of study. But to answer your question, for me, I have to say at the moment, the decision making I have to make is that I want to set up, I've written out a new routine for myself. And I learned over the weekend in this conference that I have to make small changes, and then I have to be consistent with those small changes. And then I can go to bigger, more, more impactful changes. So I'm going to start from scratch, put that routine into place, make the small changes, be consistent in them for a week or two, and then go to other changes just to streamline my routine here.
Love it. So you're saying make a small change at a time and don't attempt to go for all of them at one time.
Yes. That way now I don't get despondent, or I don't feel like I don't meet the mark. And lists, by the way, very important. Kate and Jonathan, I use lists as well. So I don't know about it being masculine, but they work for me.
Yeah, that definitely worked for me too. And Kate, what about you?
What specifically am I sharing?
What is something in your order that you would need to change in order to reach more productivity? Whether that's in life and love and relationship and spirituality and business, whatever.
Actually, I think there's times where I have to step back from being so organized, and I think I have the reverse problem than most, in the fact that I can overdo it with the planning and have to back up just a little. I'm learning to pivot more. So,
awesome.
Because I can handle a calendar and a schedule like nobody's business, but the kids always are asking, well, if you didn't keep a schedule, it would be so much easier. And I'm like, if we didn't keep a schedule, we would get nothing done. We would just be running around and getting nothing done. The more people we have, the more I have to put towards that. So sometimes I think I just need to step back a little bit.
Here's how amazing my wife is. Okay. It is Sunday. Her order for food for this week for dinners, it's all hanging on the wall in the kitchen already. And that is put in there every single week, every Sunday. We have a very specific routine every Sunday of exactly how everything's done to get the family ready for the next week for, meals, for school, for all that fun stuff, just starting off the new week. And as much as I'd love to take credit and say that they were my ideas, not a one of them was. My idea was come to the dinner table and eat. She handles the rest of it. Well, guys, again, I would like to thank you for being here. Whether you are here live on the call with us, you're watching us live right now on the platforms that we are broadcasting on, or you see this live in the future. Hit hashtag live if you're watching us live, hashtag replay if you are catching us on replay. And Mr. James Dixon, the absolute motivator himself, you are awesome too, my friend. It's great to see you. He's doing wonderful things. Maybe we can have him come on here with us and spend some time with us sometime. He's an absolutely amazing man. It's great to see you, brother. You can go join Thought Provoking Change right now by going to thoughtprovokingchange.com/opportunity and get in on all the calls with us. Obviously, we put this one out for everybody to come hang out with us because we just love people. We love pouring into people and spending time with people. And we have Susan Beam on here right now holding up her book.
My book.
Her book called Never Give Up. Tell us a little bit about it.
This is a book with 23 authors in it, and it's stories of perseverance and never give up. And I'm a breast cancer survivor, so this is a story about my breast cancer journey.
Susan, I would like to congratulate you on that. I remember when my very first book came out, how excited and overjoyed I was, and then it got more exciting for me the more that I put out. My very first one was an anthology series, just like what you're talking about. Multiple authors come together collectively to make one work. The most popular and most purchased anthology series of all time. Does anybody know what it is? That's right. It's the Bible itself. That is an anthology. Multiple authors come together to collaborate on one big book, whether it's all done at one time or not. Clearly, the Bible was written over a long period of time.
Launch party is on Tuesday, the 29th.
The what? I'm sorry?
The launch party. Book launch, the official launch.
Oh, the book launch party. Very cool. And if any of you guys know anybody in Australia, please have them go. Susan put up the link in the chat. Have people in Australia go and purchase her book so that they can become a best-selling in Australia as well. Everybody, remain blessed and unstoppable. Go ahead and join Thought Provoking Change so that we can welcome you into the family, into the community, and you can hang out with us on all of the calls. And we will see you again next Sunday. The Bible, that's right, James. We will see you again next Sunday. Same time, same place, 9:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we do have calls coming up through the week, but those are members-only calls. So go ahead and join with us now. Remain blessed and unstoppable. You are loved from this community. Have a wonderful week.